All right, folks. If I was a more prepared channel host, I would have a bunch of links ready to demonstrate the points that I'm about to make, but you're just going to have to be soothed into an analytical mind state by the sound of my voice, okay? I want to talk about Elon Gate, the term Elon Musk has chosen to refer to the drama surrounding the recent revelation that he and his company paid $250,000 to a woman because he sexually harassed her while on a flight over London? Something like this. But I think Elon Gate refers in actuality not just to that, but to the entire past couple of weeks of Elon Musk behavior. And I want to talk about that because I feel like we're really quickly arriving at a broader cultural shift in the perception of Elon Musk that I'm in favor of, you know? So I want to cover the ground up till this point. I'll begin with the birth of Elon Musk. It was a mistake, but it happened anyway. And, give or take, skip a couple decades, whatever. We got Elon Musk, wealthy boy, a lot of money, emerald mine, South Africa, apartheid, blah, blah, blah. You know the history. He makes some investments. He does good. SpaceX, boring company. Tesla, great, phenomenal. So where do we go from here? Well, Elon Musk really quickly develops a reputation as a big boy Tony Stark tech god. Now, in reality, Elon Musk is primarily a venture capitalist. That's what he's been good at and successful in. That's how he's excelled. He started with money, and he's invested that money into other people's companies, and he's made significant returns. Now, that's not to say he's done nothing. He's actually done something really, 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 really important. He acts as a hype man for the futurist projects that his companies, put forward, which massively inflates their stock value, which of course makes him much, much, much wealthier. When you take a look at companies like Tesla and SpaceX, you have electric cars and you have, legitimate, because SpaceX has done some cool stuff, legitimate, like the private investment in the technology for affordable space travel. You need a Rick Sanchez out there, out in the front. Elon Musk has done a great job. He went on Joe Rogan a little while back. He smoked the weed. There's that picture of him. You know what I'm talking about. Now, I've always disliked Elon because I think it's always been pretty obvious if you look at him for 5 minutes that he's kind of like a little bit of like an airheaded megalomaniac. But I didn't hate the guy, I just, he literally was in Rick and Morty. So I can make the joke, but yeah. I didn't hate the guy. But with time, and I have to summarize so much information here, because I'm trying to get to where we are now. The impression that I've always gotten from Elon Musk is that he is a bright but not exceptionally so person who's been very lucky and who has, as is the case for a couple of prominent billionaires in the past few years, Trump being an obvious example, has decided that simply being one of the most powerful and influential people on the planet is not sufficient. He needs to be loved as well. It's not enough. The reputation, it has to follow along with the wealth. And he's been increasingly vocal in the past couple of years on politics, but always fronted a kind of, enlightened centrist, the American people want this or that, rise above petty partisan politics attitude. Very Andrew Yang. And, oh God, I have to skip so much. There's so much I want to ramble about. A couple of weeks ago, the man made a move to buy Twitter, right? And there's been a fuss about that, and I've talked about it, and in doing so, the reasons he gave for wanting to buy Twitter, the changes he wanted to make, I think revealed a lot about him. So when you're proposing to buy one of the largest social media companies on the planet privately for tens of billions of dollars, I feel like it's reasonable to assume that you would have an extremely specific action plan for what you want to do with the platform. This is, after all, a very big investment. An investment of $44 billion is not just a large investment. It is quite possibly one of the largest single private investments ever made, ever. 44 billion. You know, there are only a few people in history who even have that much money to invest in anything. But when he talked about why he wanted Twitter and what he wanted to do with Twitter, his answers were really dumb for the most part. Like, you have this constant posturing for free speech here, but what that means in the context of a social media platform is like a retraction of TOS guidelines, you know, to make it harder to get banned from the platform. And at one point, he tweeted that he felt it was undemocratic to have any TOS restrictions that exceeded the bounds of the actual law, because to do so would mean to violate the wishes of the voters. Now that's really stupid. Like, that's essentially saying it's undemocratic for any private institution to have rules that aren't explicitly against the law, when in fact the freedom to do so with your own platform is an expression of free enterprise. But okay, you know. He's talked about making algorithms public, which I don't necessarily have an issue with, but I don't think the algorithms for Twitter are that powerful a force in dictating what people see on their feeds. For YouTube, they are. YouTube and TikTok, I believe, have very, very, like, how would you put it, coercive algorithms where they're very effective at like leading people down certain roads for maximum like viewer retention and view time optimization. Twitter, not to say it's not relevant at all, but and Facebook, yes, Facebook as well. Twitter, though, he's talked about getting rid of shadow bans. I don't know how much of a role shadow bans play in Twitter. It's kind of hard to say because they're shadow bans. It's kind of hard, for us to know. I guess I wouldn't mind that being made more transparent. I'm in favor of transparency generally, but is this really why Elon Musk wants to spend $44 billion on Twitter to unveil the shadow ban algorithm? I mean, I don't know. It seems really arbitrary to me. Really, really dumb. He ran into trouble with his investment pretty early on as well, because it seems like he may have unintentionally violated some non-disparagement agreements associated with the Twitter buyout by insulting some Twitter employees, which caused some, I believe, some complications, or at least some potential legal troubles. And just recently, and by recently I mean a couple of days ago, the stock of Tesla, which as I understand it is what he is fronting to pay for the Twitter, it has fallen below the threshold the contract stipulates it must remain above, without him needing to then short others. And then he's like selling some other stock. I mean, it's a little more complicated than I've deigned to look into, but it seems like it's going kind of poorly for him. I mean, you can take a look right now at the past the past month of Tesla stock, where back here it was at 1,008 per share, and right now it's down to 663 per share. That is a drop of a third in the past month. That is a lot. That's especially a lot, by the way, for a company which is based primarily on, hype, right? Because that's what Tesla has always relied on. It's a massive company. It's the whole market, though, not Elon only. Yeah, but it is, I think, to an extent disproportionate. The whole market hasn't gone down by a third over the course of a month. The banks would be on fire if that was the case. But hype is a huge, huge, huge part of how his companies function. Because, to be honest, he doesn't offer that much else beyond that, personally. It's been pretty bad, though. Yes, it has been pretty bad. Not 33% bad. But yes, the market's doing very poorly right now, which is not good. Yes, it's down 11%. Thank you, chat. A lot of people have acknowledged that. Anyway, so he has to sell other stock to go for it. But I feel like what's happening right now, I think my initial analysis might have been a little bit off on this, and that's why I want to I kind of condense my feelings on this. This is a Fifi's. Wait. Can you explain how stocks work in a quick recap? I feel like people get hard critiqued when they say it's basically just gambling and hype. It's gambling and hype. Um, Basically, stock values reflect the public perception of the performance and value of a company. If a company does a lot of stuff, but people think it's in the trash, then its stock value goes down. If people think that a company does really well and is very valuable, even though it loses money, then its stock value goes up. There are tons of examples throughout recent history of like, what do they call them? Loss leaders? No, that's a different term. Where you have like startup companies that lose millions of dollars every quarter, but they're still valued at billions and billions because people think they can make money off of it, you know? Like it's pretty common for like internet based, just any modern like app yeah, because it's always like that's an oversimplification. You're goddamn right, it's an oversimplification. You're right. You're not an econ boy. Is this a unique thing in the current economy? No. As long as speculation on the performance of industries has been a thing, there has been an formal or an informal stock market, and it has always been subject to hype and gambling. This goes back to mercantilism and beyond. You know, you can go back to France in the 12th century, and I guarantee you there are people out there who are doing what they could, the comparable equivalent of buying the dip, okay? Everyone's always been buying the dip. It's not new, folks. You know, South Sea Bubble. I've heard of that, never looked into it. The Dutch were crazy stock gamblers. Wacky stuff, folks. Let's not get too sidetracked. So, I feel like my initial perception of this was a little bit off, so I want to amend it. Elon Musk is genuinely taking a big hit right now for this Twitter buyout, and I don't even think this is the totality of it. I want to go back a little bit to the way he's been talking, you know, politics-wise. So again, I could pull up like a billion tweets if I want to, but I've talked about it on the stream before. Elon Musk has been increasingly politically partisan over the past couple of weeks. It's long been known that he's a conservative. He is pretty much openly anti-union. He's been posting anti-woke, anti-SJW boomer memes that you could pull off iFunny onto Twitter for a couple of months now. The Grimes breakup hurt him, clearly. You know, like anti-pronoun stuff. Yeah, like garbage like that. But he's always pretended to be like this politically neutral, centered person, which every conservative does, up until the point where it's more profitable for them to acknowledge they're actually a conservative. A point we reached 2 days ago, right before the sexual misconduct scandal broke. Basically, what happened was Elon Musk has been increasingly politically partisan, and then 2 days ago, he said, oh, hey, by the way, I'm a Republican. Get ready for all the crazy Democrat attacks against me. You guys get ready. Pretty soon they're going to come out with crazy attacks against me. Just don't you worry. Yeah, they're any second now, they're going to, some wacky partisan bullshit they're going to throw at me. And then a couple hours later, what was it, Business Insider, dropped the story of him paying $250,000 to a flight attendant who was coerced into learning masseuse skills so she could massage Elon Musk, and then he propositioned her to give him a hand job, and he offered to buy her a horse. Now, the funny thing is, I know, very funny, very topical. The funny thing is, and again, this to me reiterates a broader argument that I'm going to make, that Elon Musk is not only not that intelligent, but is actually uniquely unintelligent. Let me find this little timeline posted by none other than... No, nothing. Political attacks on me will escalate dramatically in the coming months. 12:22 p.m. In the past, I voted Democrat because they were mostly the kindest party, but they have become the party of hate and division, so I can no longer support them and will vote Republican. He's always voted Republican. I have no doubt. Now watch their dirty tricks campaign against me unfold. Popcorn bucket. And then, after Business Insider dropped the story about the flight attendant, John Cook clarifies, for those interested, we reached out to the principals for comment regarding the story at 9 a.m. Eastern yesterday on the 18th. 12:22 p.m. He tweeted this 3 hours after Business Insider let him know that they were going to reveal the $250,000 that his company spent to silence the aggrieved flight attendant. Literally. So this is a classic Republican move. He only announces that he's a Republican in order to obfuscate the story about his sexual misconduct that he learned about 5 minutes ago and knows will come out within hours. Phenomenal stuff. Brilliant stuff. Usually on the West Coast, so it was probably only 20 minutes. This might have literally just been like a few minutes difference. I mean, this must have been like a panic tweet, right? And this was 20 minutes later, right? Like, don't call him a super genius for nothing. The funny thing is, in the Business Insider article that you can take a look at, and I still can't believe he did this. He actually responded when they reached out to him for comment. I don't know if they had like his direct line or something, but Elon must be like, I swear to God, if you can get 1 or 2 drinks in Elon Musk, he'll tell you his password to every single system like that he has control over. Oh my God, he actually. We've talked about like the actual story. It's super creepy, super fucking weird. Really creepy beta shit. Not even alpha sexual harassment, you know? Beta sexual harassment. He managed to make it worse. Crazy stuff. Very creepy. And don't you start. It's creepy. Anyway, let me see. Where's the bit with the quote from him? Oh, here we go. Okay, I still can't believe he did this. This is insane. Okay, so I want you to paint a picture in your head. All right. So okay, it's 12. It's just a few hours before Elon Musk sends out the tweet. Okay, he's in his penthouse. You know, his where does he live? Let's just say he's at Tesla.co. I don't know where the man sleeps. All right. What matters is the noise, okay? The noise, the furious pounding at the door from his PR team, okay? They're screaming, you know. You hear the high-pitched whine of a plasma torch as the PR team cuts the flint and starts trying to cut through the edge of the door. They're pounding, but Elon can't hear. He's listening to 100 gecs at full volume. When he checks his email and sees what his PR team saw 2 minutes ago, all right? The email from Business Insider, okay? He looks at this and he goes, I'm smarter than everyone else on Earth. I can handle this. After Insider contacted Musk for comment, he emailed to ask for more time to respond and said, quote, there's a lot more to this story. Oh my God. If I were inclined to engage in sexual harassment, this is unlikely to be the first time in my entire 30-year career that it comes to light, he wrote, calling the story a politically motivated hit piece. Unbelievable. Genuinely fucking unbelievable. Astonishing. It defies comprehension. Insider extended the deadline and reiterated the offer to Musk to comment on the claims. He did not respond because his PR team finally cut through the door. The plasma torch finally dies down as the rectangular hole they've been cutting around the door frame is complete. They kick it down and 20 men burst in and tackle him. Holy shit. Then, after they get control of the phone, you know, SpaceX Vice President of Legal Christopher Cardassi said, I'm not going to comment on any settlement agreements. Acting, you know, like what a lawyer might recommend you might act like. Oh my God. That scene at the beginning of the Phantom Menace. Yeah, they're Tesla lightsabers, which are actually just plasma torches that have all of these safety regulations taken off, you know? So they feel really cool to use, but like 1 in 3 people die when they use them. Yeah. Whew. Boy. That is very funny. So, of course, you know, the whole situation explodes. The story makes Elon Musk look like a gigantic creep. But the crazy thing is that Elon Musk... Okay, so apparently Elon Musk had a second backup phone that he stored in his shoe or something, because after the SpaceX legal team took away the first one, my man couldn't stop tweeting, you know? I don't know. They should check, like, wherever he lives for any shallow graves nearby, because I have a feeling you'll find some lawyers buried 6 feet under, or probably a lot less than that. Because my man Elon Musk has been losing it on the TL. Some good ones, by the way, because he's certainly said a lot, but this one might be my favorite. When I saw this tweet, I thought it was a fake tweet made up by leftists to discredit him. It was so funny, I considered retweeting it anyway, because love spreading misinformation. It's not fake. I have a challenge to this liar who claims their friend saw me exposed. Describe one thing, anything at all, scars, tattoos, that isn't known by the public. She won't be able to do so because it never happened. Oh, so you've been sexually harassed by me? Name 5 fucked up things about my dick. This is real. So to be clear, the person who he sexually harassed had to sign an NDA for the $250,000 settlement she got. So the person he harassed can't talk about this legally. The friend is the one who dropped this story, a friend of the person who signed the NDA. So what Elon Musk is saying essentially is, if I sexually harassed your friend, then why can't you tell me about the parts of my penis that she told you about? It's insane. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Aren't NDAs void if it's covering something illegal? No, it was a legal handling of the situation. It's a settlement. Settlement plus NDA is a pretty common. It's not legally found to be sexual harassment. There was never a criminal case. But anyway, yeah, absolutely insane. This right here, phenomenal. Okay, but it gets better. So Mr. Free Speech man, Mr. Free Speech boy, Elon Musk, what's his response to the completely legal act of a person talking about something that their friend signed an NDA on? Tesla is building a hardcore litigation department where we directly initiate and execute lawsuits. The team will report directly to me. Please send 3 to 5 bullet points describing evidence of exceptional ability. He's asking for email applications to be his lawyer, to silence people who criticize him. Not the 3 to 5 bullet points to demonstrate evidence that you'd be a competent attorney? Not a resume? Dog, look at my lawyer. We're gonna get like, oh god, it's all gonna be like, the mayor of New York, the guy who was Trump's lawyer. Come on, what's his... Yeah, Giuliani. It's just gonna be like hundreds of Giulianis showing up in ill-fitting suits. But... and so this is like fucked up in a million ways. First of all, responding to something totally legal with this suggests that he just wants to like throw slap suits at people to silence them, which of course he does. He's always done that. His whole career he's done that. Secondly, the idea of the team reporting directly to him means that they report directly to his ego. Elon Musk doesn't know anything about law. He's literally just saying, if I see something in the media that I don't like, I want you to go silence them with a lawsuit or threats of a lawsuit. That's directly what's being said here. Third of all, again, we're going to get a whole bunch of Giuliani here. Hold on. Sir, how do I do a Saul voice? How do you do a Saul voice? Elon, listen, you need a guy who... Yeah, low-res Saul Goodman is the only Saul Goodman we need, okay? Listen, alright? I want to stop talking about my client's apartheid past. Let's talk about my client's apartheid future. There we go. Your Honor, my client Elon says he, deadass, did not sexually harass that woman and by that child. I rest my case. Yeah. Saul did a pretty good job with Walter, though. Oh, Saul is an exceptionally intelligent man, you know. Great show in large part because I think they perfectly capture in one character incredible intelligence and like bumbling buffoonery. He manages both very well, which is great. Anyway, good show. But good shows. Better Call Saul's great too. Anyway. So this is like really bad. This is really bad and really, really, really pathetic. Looking for hardcore street fighters, not white shoe lawyers like Perkins or Cooley who thrive in corruption. There will be blood. So again, this is basically like, remember when Donald Trump didn't like what the media was saying about him, so he threatened to open up libel and slander laws so he could sue all the journalists and journalistic institutions that were reporting accurately on the stuff that he did? He's essentially just threatening free speech right here. He's openly, like directly saying, I am going to use my wealth to silence criticism of me. which again he's always done. None of this is new. He's been a union buster for a long time, and I think it's time we finally talked about the reason why he's doing all of this, or at least a good part of the reason. You know, everybody is motivated fundamentally by personal incentives. Systemic forces determine personal incentives, you know? What causes men to work? Well, obviously you've got big fancy systems like capitalism and what have you, but at the end of the day, when you get down to the individual, they work because they need food to pay rent. It's when you distill everything to a lens of individualism, usually I think you obfuscate the broader issue, but in Elon's case, I think you actually get something pretty useful. But first, a short video from More Perfect Union.
Voted over.
Now, this came out before Elon Musk said he's going to vote Republican. Let's see the real reason why Elon Musk doesn't like Democrats.
And I would classify myself as a moderate, and neither Republican nor Democrat. And in fact, I have voted overwhelmingly for Democrats historically, overwhelmingly. Like I'm not sure. I might never have voted for a Republican, just to be clear.
Right.
Now this election, I will. The Democratic Party is overly controlled by the unions and by the trial lawyers, particularly the class action lawyers.
That is an interesting thing for a billionaire to say. Class action lawyers. I really want you to think about what he's saying right now. What group of people would be concerned? What group of people would make the accusation that the Democrat Party is controlled by class action lawyers? What does that mean exactly? Like, really think about it. Like, unions are weaker now than they have been in a long, long time, though we've seen uptick in the past couple of months. He doesn't like the Democrat Party because he doesn't like workers' rights. That's it. And he is so obsessively paranoid about workers' rights that he's deluded himself into thinking that Democrats are controlled by class action lawyers. Now, keep in mind, if he had said here, the Democrats are more favorable towards unions, he would be correct. That is true relative to Republicans. He's saying that it's controlled by class action lawyers. That is insane. That is a genuinely insane thing to say. That is psychotic. Only a psychotic person could possibly believe that. You know, this would be like an ice cream merchant saying that the Democrat Party is like overly controlled by like crepe bakers, which is the competition for ice cream. Like a big ice cream magnate looking at the camera and going like, well, the Democrats are controlled largely by crepe makers and other forms of non-dairy confectionery. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say I'm taking my vote elsewhere. It's wild shit. People in chat are saying it's anti-Semitic. It's not. He's being very upfront with what he cares about, guys. He doesn't want workers' rights. He has praised Chinese workers who he's kept in their sweatshops for like 12-hour shifts, forced them to sleep on the floors rather than go home during COVID regulations. He has repeatedly broken or at least tested the limits of labor guidelines in America and abroad. He's called American workers lazy because they weren't susceptible to the same types of abuse that Chinese workers were because we have stronger workers' rights. He is just a good old-fashioned robber baron. That's the term, folks. Robber baron. His political positions are entirely downstream of him. That is who he is. And all of his politics flow downstream of that. At the end of the day, I think that Elon Musk is an exceptionally unimpressive and generally unintelligent person who has a God complex. I think that remember when he said he wants to like get people over to Mars by through indentured servitude? Remember that? When he was like, yeah, when we go to Mars, people can like, pay off their travel voyage at the lawless labor camps in at Mars, where there's no way any government can like determine how I treat them, through labor. Yeah, Outer Worlds tier shit, fucking Martian labor camp shit. Unironically and literally, I literally think he wants that. I just think he's a robber baron. I just think he has an insanely overinflated ego, and all the shit that he's doing, these Twitter meltdowns, this freak out, this panic response, his unwillingness to listen to a PR department, his like cavalier social media bullshit, all of it. I just think all of it comes down to the fact that he is a fucking robber baron, that he has an incredibly overinflated sense of self-worth, which is distorting his ability to rationally process what he is and is not capable of doing, and he's distorted his, perception of the world to the point where he sincerely believes the Democratic Party is controlled by class action lawyers. That's it. Now, in the pursuit of his personal self-aggrandizement and wealth building, he has joined with the Republicans. And that's kind of a funny, juncture if you think about it. Republicans don't really give a shit about a lot of the stuff that he's built his career off of, right? Like electric vehicles, space exploration. These aren't really departments the Republicans are well known for. The big support for Elon Musk hasn't really come from Republicans. It's come instead from fart sniffing Bay Area San Francisco tech guys. That's been the snooty, center-leaning liberals. That's my perception of who's always been the Elon Musk kind of guy. But now the Republicans are falling behind him because he has the same big voice stupidity Donald Trump has, which people are, interested in. But in terms of the direction that he's going to become more politically involved in the near future. I mean, he's going to really ramp this up with time. And his politics overlap far more with Republicans than they do Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan. Panthera, don't distract me. With Democrats. So, with all that being said, he can't run for president? No, he can't. But you can do plenty without running for president. With all that being said, I think we've actually found a perfect case study, folks. Elon Musk is the picture-perfect dictionary definition of a capitalist aligning with fascists in order to preserve their material interests. It's perfect. It's textbook. He is literally a ultra-wealthy business magnate who runs factories all around the world, who has made his living off of union busting, wealth consolidation, exploiting the worker standard, and he kept the veneer of progressivism going for a long time. Until now, he realizes that the Democrats have a little bit more of a hand in, the union game than Republicans do. And he instantly pivots and fully backs the fascist party in the United States. Because doing so allows him to align himself against worker solidarity. Even though the Republicans ostensibly stand against everything Elon Musk has sold himself as. The Republican Party is anti-science, climate change denying, oil and gas chugging, creationism promoting Republican Party. And then you have Elon Musk, Rick Sanchez himself, aligning with them, even though you would think in every aesthetic sense they do not meaningfully share the same interests. Elon Musk's brand isn't fascism, it's techno-futurism and free speech. Republicans are fascist. But at the end of the day, none of this matters. Because he needs to make his money. And that primarily is why I think all of this is funny. Because beyond everything else, I feel like a lot of people are learning how bad Elon Musk is right now. I don't think the shift over to him being openly right-wing is going to go as smoothly as he thinks that it will. And I think if anything else, he's actually setting himself up to be what the left really needs right now, which is the big bad. He's not like Donald Trump, like some bloviating, puppeteer dipshit. Elon Musk is a genuine, honest-to-God, egomaniac robber baron. He's a villain in every sense. He's perfect. And I genuinely think that by positioning himself openly as a Republican, rather than faking being center or left-leaning, he's maneuvering himself into a position to be something that the working class galvanizes themselves against. That's just a hope. It's a hope of mine, a belief that I hold deep in my heart. We'll see. It's going to blow up California for the real estate. We can only hope. And easily see Musk and Bezos creating the IRL dystopian Weyland-Yutani Corporation. Oh, speaking of billionaires who have been pretending to be apolitical or center-leaning but suddenly went more Republican, Bezos, you think it's a coincidence that Joe Biden just recently met with Christian Smalls, the guy who did the Amazon union? You think that's a coincidence? All these billionaires, listen, they will see you dead in camps, folks. Do you think Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos would give even a single shit if you were put into a mass grave? When in history has the world been changed by the conscientious objection of billionaires against fascism? Oh yeah, that happens in fascist countries. All the ultra-wealthy business magnates rise up to defend the oppressed against the excesses of fascist tyranny. Right, yeah, no. I prefer a world where they are explicitly right-wing, though you all have to understand, and I'll end this segment here, you must understand, the fact that they are going explicitly right-wing means that the clock is ticking closer to midnight. You understand? This mask off shit is something that only happens as the dialectic, is brought closer towards moments of action. This doesn't happen just sort of aberrantly, just randomly in the middle of a time of otherwise peaceful and uninteresting political discourse. It's something that happens as you get closer to the time. It's the abandonment of the euphemism. What are you implying? Some deliberate orchestration on his part? Not at all. It's material conditions. Everyone's influenced by the mode of the world they live in, the vibes, if you'll pardon the Marxian dialectic terminology. And Elon Musk, along with the rest of us, these aren't machinations made by some big plans, a bunch of guys smoking cigars in a shaded room. No. This is just stuff that happens. Take a look at the history of fascist governments and their collaboration with businesses in their respective countries. This happens all the time. But it's not planned. It's just a consequence of forces that are moving and too big for any one person to completely control or subvert.